Hello and welcome to another episode of Analog Insights. And today we're testing the ultimate medium format camera that offers a compact size, integrated filters, a giant negative, and is very simple in its handling. We're talking about the Agfa Synchro box. So let's take a closer look. So now let's take a closer look at this particular camera. The Aqua Boxes were built starting in the 1930s and really for several decades. And in many ways, these were primarily consumer cameras, so really affordable. And that's also part of the reason why they don't offer a lot of features. So these were not professional tools, but directed at consumers. And the features are really limited to a basic viewfinder, a manual film winder, one shutter speed, which is 1/30th of a second, two apertures, f11 and f16, and an added yellow filter that you can use in addition if you want to. And that's basically it. All there is. What you get are really nice 6:9 negatives, and of course, given the lens and everything, you don't really get sharp images, and it's also very difficult to focus this camera. In many ways, you can compare them to what we have today with the Fuji Instax cameras, so rather affordable. Many people use them as a kind of casual camera, but it's really difficult to use them as a professional tool. And what we decided today to do with them is kind of a challenge, because we wanted to shoot not just regular black and white film, but also slide film. So we did bring along some Fuji Velvia 50, and what we basically ended up doing is Jules created a little card that indicates how often we have to press the shutter if we don't have 1/30th of a second but longer shutter speeds. So we basically put it on a tripod and press for, let's say, 8 times or something like that, and then take a look at the results later on. So let's see how this worked out. Another thing that I found interesting is the film transport, the manual film transport, and then of course the frame counter. Because you have this little window at the back of the camera where you can see right onto the film, and of course that has a little sign on it saying at which frame you currently are. So as you probably noticed by now, we're in the mountains today. We drove south to Austria, to the Alps, and went up one of the mountains to take out our Aqua Boxes. We brought all sorts of film with us, most importantly 2 different slide films. The first one is Fuji Velvia, and the second one Kodak E100. And in addition to that, we brought some different black and white T-grain films, Ilford Delta 100 and Kodak T-Max 400. And in addition to that, some Kodak Triax. So we slowly hiked up the mountain with all the equipment that we brought along. which of course was a little bit difficult. We had the two Agfa Synchro boxes together with the tripods, of course our video camera, and Jules had also brought along his Hasselblad to take some additional images. And despite the weight of the camera together with the tripod, they handled surprisingly well and it was really fun using them. I particularly like that they featured two different viewfinders, one in landscape orientation and one for portrait. That was really nice. We then reached a clearing and decided to increasingly shoot color slide film. Of course, this was particularly tricky, but we're pretty pleased how these images turned out. What is important to notice if you look at the final images here is of course the corner fall off of this lens. So it is quite sharp at the very center, but then you have a really impressive fall off towards the corners. So by now we're on our way down the mountain. In my case, it's rather sliding than actually walking. We had a pretty good time with the Aqua Boxes, and of course we're really looking forward to the results and can't wait to get these films developed, especially the slide films. We're kind of concerned about the exposure, but let's see how they turned out.